Hello and welcome to the first session of Amrut Mahotsav cohort, the accelerator program hosted by Garje Marathi Global and partner organizations, which are the incubators and mentor organizations. My name is Sanjay Bhandari, and I'm honored to be the first speaker in this series of our accelerator speeches. First, let me start by congratulating the companies that have been chosen to be part of this core program. There are several hundred applicants to this program, and the way we choose these companies that join this program is based on not just the idea of these startup companies, but also the initial level of work and commitment these organizations have shown. So congratulations again on joining this cohort program, and welcome to this program. Next, I want to thank all the mentors, incubators, partner organizations that will be hosting this, will be mentoring this, will be giving speeches during this program. Many of these mentors, many of these presenters are heads of their corporations, they're founders, they're entrepreneurs, they're very busy people, and we really appreciate that they're sparing their personal time and dedicating time for helping these startup programs. Today in this program, I'm going to go over the agenda for what we are going to cover over this program. And in addition to that, what our expectations are about from the companies who are joining this program. And we also want to receive similar feedback from the participating companies, and we can receive that offline in terms of what their expectations are. We do solicit that feedback in the form that we share. So I'm just going to share a couple of slides here in terms of the program that will be driving on this one. So first, let me start with a quick introduction of myself. My name is Sanjay Bhandari. I did all my education, BTech, my master's, PhD in India, and then here at Stanford program, I did executive management. And I had opportunity to work with a lot of global leaders, multinational companies, both in India as well as here in the United States. I've been living here in California for the last 27 years in Silicon Valley. And particularly, I want to mention that last 22 years of my career, I have worked with several startup organizations with 3 successful exits in terms of IPOs, acquisitions, and mergers. And currently, I'm also founder and CEO of a startup company based in here in Bay Area. I also am very proud that my companies over these years have shipped more than 1 billion units worldwide in different sectors, consumer sectors, automotive sectors, and so on. So I carry all that experience, and I have more than 65 patents granted and pending. And I'm advisor to University of California here and startup companies. And the reason I wanted to share that is first, I want to communicate that startups are very close to my heart. And the reason I'm participating in this and for last 2 years participating in this cohort programs for Garje Marathi Global, and I led it last year for Garje Marathi Global, is that I want to share, I want to give back what I have learned over all these years to the startup companies who are just starting now. Now, the next thing that I also want to quickly introduce is about Garje Marathi Global for people who don't know the Garje Marathi Global, or we short form it as a GMG. It's a platform of Marathi professionals. This is founded by Anand Ganu. Anandji has been very active in a number of efforts, and he has reached out to many of these partner organizations who are participating in today's program. Mission of Garje Marathi is to connect, create, and share knowledge, to mentor upcoming innovators and entrepreneurs. And the whole idea is to give back to motherland India. So the key initiatives that GMG has been driving in the past few years is one of that is the Startup Accelerator Program. And we have ran these programs in last few years. We have also arm which is Innovation Academy, through which we have given several webinars. I have also participated in giving some of that, and worldwide mentors and entrepreneurs have given these programs in the area of their expertise. And GMG also has a career help for their members and participating organizations. So now let me turn to this 18-week startup accelerator Amrut cohort. This program is based on a framework that Dr. Mashelkar sir has come up with, which is called Assured. And following my speech here, we are going to have a recorded presentation from Dr. Mashelkar, who will talk about this Assured framework. And he will communicate to you how this program is or in general, how this framework works and why this is important to startup companies. In this presentation, I'll explain the purpose of what we are going to cover in this Amrut cohort program. What are the goals? What are our expectations from startup companies? And in these couple of slides, I'm also going to talk briefly about the agenda. And this agenda will be posted, and you'll get to see that. You'll get to participate in each of that. It's an 18-week program, as Garje Marathi has advertised in many places. In each of these weeks, we pick a topic, and on these topics, we have our experts who will provide a recorded session. These recorded sessions will be shared with you, and on every weekend, we'll have a session where we'll have breakout sessions where we'll communicate with the companies, and the presenter of each of these expertise area will be there to answer questions from all the cohort companies or the participants. So we'll start with this Assured framework in week 1. This will be launched on 1st of January, and this video's Assured framework video will be posted on 1st of January, which will be followed by a second week of design thinking. Again, webinar will be posted, and the presenters of this design thinking framework, Madhav, Dapke, Kalyani Mehendale, and others, will be available there to answer your questions from startup companies and also provide more details as the questions come up. And then from there, we go on to the business model. This business model framework, we call it BMC, Business Model Canvas, talks about the front end, which is the customer facing end, the back end, which is the operations end, and how do startup companies come up with this plan in terms of building their business model. So we'll provide inputs to these companies. Some of you have already done this homework, and some of that will be very relevant to what we are discussing here, or you may have to do additional homework in order to put your business thinking in this framework that we'll be sharing with you. We'll provide time for assignment. There will be homework, there will be assignments after each of these presentations. And this homework or these assignments are meant for each of these startup companies to think in this particular perspective. Eventually, out of this business model thinking, out of doing this value proposition or customer development, unit economics, out of all these, you will come up with data or information relevant to your own startup companies, which will help you eventually to put together a business presentation, business pitch for investors and for your customers. So eventually, after these 18 weeks, we'll take you to a level where you will be confident in terms of presenting that business pitch to investors. And on the last week, we call it a demo day. We'll also invite investors so that you can pitch to these investors what you have learned through this program, what your companies are working on, in a way that you receive that traction from investors. So these first 7 weeks will cover business model development, will cover customer development, value proposition canvas, or VPC as we abbreviate that, intellectual property, which is very important for each of the startups, And then we'll talk about de-risking, we'll talk about economics, we'll talk about how to do company valuations, and we'll also have participation from successful entrepreneurs so that you can ask your questions to these entrepreneurs and receive some answers in areas that are challenging to you. And the last few weeks are about this business pitch development. So we'll provide you inputs. There will be a presentation in terms of how to put together this business pitch presentation. And then we'll give you time to prepare that. You work with your mentors. And then once you have that ready, we'll have an internal presentation so that mentors can give you feedback. All these experts in this platform will provide you feedback. And then the last week is going to be a demo day where we invite investors to join this program. So as you can see, in these 18 weeks, there is a thorough development in terms of step-by-step areas that are important to your business development, to your startup. And in each of these, the assignments that are given to you are important. Devdatta is who's going to also speak later on, is going to coordinate all these presentations, making sure these are uploaded on time. He'll also monitor or help us monitor the assignment updates from all the cohort companies and track these assignments midweek, and then we'll eventually discuss that during the weekend session. So with that, I would like to end this presentation, and then in the week after that, when we actually meet one-on-one, we'll have opportunity for your questions and answers about this Amrut Mahotsav agenda, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. And if you have any offline feedback regarding your expectations, your questions, feel free to communicate that. There is going to be a channel where your questions can be presented, your questions can be posted, and mentors will provide answers to that. We assign mentors to each of the cohort participants, each of the startups. We provide one mentor, dedicated mentor for you. In addition to your dedicated mentor, we'll have this set of all these mentors, and you can approach any of these mentors. We'll publish a list, and you can post your questions. And if you feel there's expertise with this particular mentor, you can follow up with that mentor. And offline, you can build up that rapport, and hopefully that rapport will take you beyond this cohort in terms of working with these set of mentors and incubation organization. So again, welcome to this Amrut Mahotsav cohort, and I look forward to working with all the mentors and all the cohort companies in this program. Thank you.